Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm your host, Hilmarie Hutchison, and today's guest has the distinction of being a return guest on the show. He's on a mission to make crypto investing accessible to everyone, not just the tech-savvy or the financially elite. Dr. Daniel is the creator of the Crypto Education Program, a training platform designed specifically for beginners who want to confidently enter the world of cryptocurrency without getting lost in jargon or complexity. With a background in teaching and a deep understanding of blockchain, he's breaking down barriers and giving everyday people the tools to build financial freedom through smart crypto strategies. Daniel, it's fantastic to have you back on the show. Can you believe it's already been 18 months since we last chatted?
I thought it was barely a year, actually. I can't believe it's been that long.
18 months. And as you know, the world of crypto never sleeps, and so much has happened in that time. So it feels like a really perfect moment to do a proper catch-up and dive into what's been shaking out in the crypto space lately.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm actually excited. Like you said, 18 months in crypto, just so people understand. A week in crypto is like a month in real time. A month in crypto is about a year. And 18 months, it might as well be a decade since we last talked. That's how much crypto has evolved and changed.
Absolutely. For those listeners who might not have heard the first podcast, and I highly recommend people to go back and listen, can you please tell our listeners how your journey into crypto education began?
I'll give you the real fast synopsis. So I'm a dentist. I've been a dentist since 99. So I think that's about 26 years in counting. But when I got into dentistry quite early, I got into dental education. And I really do enjoy learning something and then teaching it. So as a dentist, I transitioned out of clinical practice in 2016, went full-time education and coaching. And then somewhere along the line, I sold everything, dipped my toes into crypto, fell in love, learned it on my own, got absolutely massacred, spent forever trying to find someone to help me, understand and learn how to invest in crypto. And I couldn't, which was part of the difficulty of me learning on my own. But ultimately, after I went through it, I decided I should teach it. And over the years, I've helped countless people who know very little about crypto, learn and understand crypto and then safely and confidently invest in crypto. And for me, my passion has always been taking a very complex subject and explaining it in a way that's simple and easy to understand.
Yes, that is one of your superpowers, being able to really break things down. As I mentioned, you focus on making crypto accessible to beginners. In your experience, what are the most common things that hold people back from getting started?
It's this sort of, the word crypto itself has no tangible meaning. As a dentist, I was inundated with people who were investing in my friends and were like, okay, you got to get into it. You got to get in. It was so abstract, Hilmarie. Like it was just this word, crypto. What is it? Like it just didn't make sense. I understood dentistry. I understood bricks and mortars and concrete and real estate. I kind of got stock markets. What nobody explained to me was how similar, what we do in crypto investing is to investing in the stock market and the parallels between them. And once I kind of got a grip on that and I understood that there's a multitude of ways of investing within the crypto world, honestly, the majority of busy professionals and busy people in general, like teachers or doctors, lawyers, engineers, trades, everybody, every normal person who goes to work, whether it's a 9 to 5 or shift work, doesn't have their entire life to dedicate to the space. Really, we're all sort of like falling within a very sort of like small bucket of how we enter the crypto market. And once they understood that and explaining that to people in a way that's easy to understand and give them the information that they need, and not inundate them with all the noise and all the bullshit that's out there, and really focus in on, the information that they need to take action and to feel comfortable and then confident. Really, it all came together quite quickly.
To have somebody who really understands it and then is able to break it down into simple terms and get you started without making those big mistakes that you made when you first started out.
It really is. You just hit the nail on the head. It's quite easy to make money in crypto. It's simple, but it's not easy. The concept is quite simple, but it's not easy because we get hung up by all these little things that there's just no way we can get, an answer for. So for instance, when I was doing it, every little question I had, it took me 45 minutes to 2 hours to get answered. The way I look at it is if I can help people get those questions answered right away, eliminate the stupid mistakes like what you sort of mentioned, and also the fraud and the scams. And you have to understand getting into crypto is equal parts lucrative as it is terrifying because there's so many bad actors out there, bad people who are after you to take your money. And understanding how not to get scammed, you get rid of that and then you don't make mistakes. The natural ebb and flow in crypto is to make money. So basically, if you think about it, you get in and everything is going up and you're going to be making money. What holds you back is making mistakes and getting robbed and scammed. And if you eliminate the mistakes on one side, getting robbed and scammed on the other, it actually is not hard to make money. It's just who's going to help people eliminate the mistakes and not get robbed or scammed. That's sort of what I really, really dig into and ensure my clients are safe, they're intelligently protected, and they participate in a way they're successful.
Yes, absolutely. That is the scary part, right? There is always somebody that's willing to or ready to relieve you of your money and your crypto. So you have to be careful and you can't just trust everybody out there.
I would say the opposite. I would say you trust almost nobody. It is that I tell all my clients, don't trust and verify, just don't trust. If you give somebody your money in crypto, you will never see it again, ever. You give someone your money to invest in crypto, you'll never see it again. If somebody tells you, hey, this is what I do, go to this site, you'll never see your money again. They own the site. Okay. It's just really, you have to always be in control of your own money. The second you lose control of your money or you give it somebody else, it's gone. 10 times out of 10, if somebody's there saying, no, you give me your money and I'll invest, or use this website to invest in, use this exchange, or this is a platform you should use. And no, you're in control. You're not in control. They own the platform. And, I've recorded, I think, 3, long form YouTube videos on how to get scammed in crypto. And each one's 10 to 15 minutes long. And I could have did 10 more. That's how many elaborate scams there are. And without worrying about them, the bottom line is this: either spend the time educating yourself or find someone like me to educate you safely. Always control your money. And if you're educated and you're in control of your money, you're going to do well.
Yes. And then that's one thing for sure. You're not telling anybody, give me your crypto, give me your money to manage. You actually teaching. And that sort of leads me to my question about your crypto investing program. How is that different from other training programs out there?
To be honest, I'm not when I searched, I couldn't find anybody to educate me. Nobody. This was a few years ago, I think. I'm sure that there are other platforms out there, but the difference is mine is live. So most of my clients have taken other investing programs and trading programs in this, and they all come back to me and they go, okay, those ones, they don't meet me where I'm at. I am starting at level 0 and they talk over my head or they want me to do stuff I don't quite understand. And I rewind it right to 0 and I make sure I infill the foundation. So if they go back after my program, they can understand the other stuff they did. They start to, but they don't get it. So most programs don't start at 0. Most of them are video or pre-canned where you watch this video, watch the master talk. That's not how I work. That's not how education works. Education isn't gleaned from watching screens, or we would just all be sitting down watching educational movies. It's interactive, right? That's why all my stuff is live. Everything is one-on-one now. I rarely do groups anymore. Not that I mind doing groups. It's just I prefer, the one-on-one stuff. And we sit down and we have our sessions and we spend a good amount of time answering the questions that you have, making sure that you get every concept and you understand it. And the interactive part is what sets me apart. It's just the fact that it's one-on-one. You get to ask questions, you get a deep understanding, and then you get full-time support. So that way, after we turn off the screen, you're not just left to your own, oh, sugar, I don't know, or I didn't understand this. It's like, no, I got you. I got your back the whole way. And that's what sets me apart.
Yes, I love that. And as you say, education is interactive. You can't just watch. You have to be doing things and asking questions to actually get down to the nitty-gritty. And then you take it back to step 0 so that you can really understand from the very basics. You don't have to have a knowledge when you start.
100%. The biggest mistake people make, I apologize for cutting you off, is if you give somebody a video, you have no idea what lands and what they missed. You have no idea if they have questions, who answers them. You're just assuming everybody's at the same spot as what is understanding the same stuff. And this, even a video series that continues, you're just making a bunch of assumptions. With crypto, you can't assume. I could have 10 clients and do the same presentation to all 10, and all 10 of them will have understood something differently, have different questions, and it kind of, understand what I mean. So it really is a custom learning, and I bend time. So as opposed to somebody spending years on their own, they're investing after 1 week. On day 8, they're investing and they know what they're doing. It's quite crazy.
Absolutely. And because you can also, by asking questions or by hearing the kinds of questions they're asking you can also judge the level of their understanding at that point. So you can either slow down or speed up depending on where they're at. Whereas if you're just watching a video, either it's too boring or it goes too fast. You could be missing critical steps in between. I like that.
Yes, exactly.
Let's talk about what's happened in crypto in the last 18 months. What are the key changes or the things that people sort of might have missed if they've not been in this game?
18 months is a tremendously long time to cover. So I'm going to zoom way out and just cover the super, super, super highlights. So the high level stuff, because we're not going to get in the nitty gritty. What's happened now? So traditionally, crypto was working on what people call a 4-year cycle, an approximate 4-year cycle, where there was a bull cycle. And a bull cycle, so people understand, is when a lot of money comes into crypto and the value of things go up. And that can last between 6 to 18 months. And then a bear cycle, which is where all the money drains from crypto and all the values go down. And that usually lasts about a couple years. And the cyclical nature, it's not perfect, but it's kind of cyclical. Every 4 years, you have this sort of bull and then a bear and a bull and a bear. Now, that is transformed ever since the introduction of institutional buying of Bitcoin. So with the spot ETFs, and a spot ETF basically means it's a big institution like in America, where like BlackRock or whatever, where they're going to buy a bunch of Bitcoins to allow the average American. The reason I talk about America is because America is the biggest driver of crypto. The most money in crypto comes out of America, and it now has the biggest influence over the crypto sort of cycle. So what used to be a 4-year sort of like bull and bear season has changed. And the reason it's changed is because of institutional adoption, which means before institutions were buying crypto, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin, you'd have to go on, Hillary, and go on to what's called a centralized exchange and sign up, or open up a hot wallet and interact with a decentralized exchange. And these were barriers to entry, right? Because most people are like, what the hell is a centralized exchange? What's a hot wallet? What's a decentralized exchange? I'm going to stay away. But when the institutions bought Bitcoin and said, hey, listen, you want to buy Bitcoin? We have it. And then you can just buy it through your banks or through your financial institutions. It becomes really easy to buy. So they opened up that door. And then you have companies in the stock market called DATs, digital asset treasuries, that are accumulating crypto as well, Bitcoin and some other assets. So because the institutions and these companies are buying Bitcoin, it's changed the way that it behaves. This bull and bear cycle is now gone. And what happens is you're going to see Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies pump and go down alongside the macro economy of America. So in America, as most people know, the Democrats are out, the Republicans are in, right? And Trump has put a real sort of strong push this year in terms of regulating crypto and adopting crypto. So the macro economy of America has said crypto is a good thing, Bitcoin's a good thing, we love it, we want to support it. They want to become the crypto center of the world, and they're doing everything they can. Now, parallel to it, they just finished what's called quantitative tightening, and they're starting quantitative easing. And what that means for the non-financial people and your listeners, which means in America, they're going to start introducing at some point liquidity. They're going to start cutting rates, and they're going to create what's called a risk-on environment. And when a risk-on environment happens, that means money's pouring into the economy and people start investing more. Things like the stock market goes up, crypto goes up. It's a much more uplifted environment. So we're moving into a risk-on sort of time in the US macro economy, which means crypto will do well. So it's going to do really well in the upcoming months as the macro economy starts to move up and do well. Now, whenever that ends, whether it's in 6 months or 9 months and the American economy starts to pull down, crypto will pull down with it. So it's now going to be married to the macro economy of America and move up and down with it, as opposed to being independent and working on this 4-year bull and bear cycle.
Thank you for giving us that high-level overview of what has changed. So can we sort of say that the crypto market is a mirror or sort of following the same trajectory as the stock market in general or the traditional stock market, or am I totally missing the plot there?
No, it's very similar. Stock market will have other catalysts. So the stock market has done incredibly well recently because of the AI boom, right? With the AI boom, it's been doing really well with NVIDIA and all the new chips and all the deals that are being made. So that will be a positive for crypto, but it's not enough for it to come up the way the stock market has. However, when the stage is set for the stock market to do well, you are exactly right. A risk on environment is actually going to pump up the stock market even more, and then crypto will follow or will mirror it because of a risk on environment. So if it's a catalyst that's not to do with the overall sort of environment, sort of like, oh, AI has really sort of, sparked some interest in the market and the market has really went up because of AI. Well, that's not going to spill over much into crypto. But when it goes up because it's a risk on environment, yes, crypto will mirror that. That's exactly right.
That's super interesting. I keep hearing about the possibility of another alt season. For someone new to crypto, what does that mean and what should they be watching out for?
That's such a great question. Okay, so just to make it real simple for your listeners, think of Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's like the OG original cryptocurrency, right? And everything other than Bitcoin, let's just call it an altcoin. So altcoin means alternative to Bitcoin. So there's Bitcoin and everything else is an altcoin. So we're going to just separate those two. So alt season traditionally is, when a bull and a bear market, during the bull market, when Bitcoin goes up and then it sells off, people take all the profits they made in Bitcoin, they roll it into the other coins and tokens, which are the altcoins, and then they all go up. So this alt season generally is quite incredible in the past. You could throw money at almost anything and it would all go up 5x, 10x, 20x, whatever, 100x. It was insane. All that's changed. It's completely changed. Why? Because of institutional adoption, right? Now, when Bitcoin goes up and goes up, goes up, the people owning Bitcoin aren't selling it. And if they are selling it, they're not rolling the profits into the alts, right? Because a lot of the institutional buyers, they're not involved in crypto. They're just selling it to normal Americans who are just investing for retirement for long-term purposes. And even if those normal Americans sold, they're not in the crypto world to roll the profits into the alternative coins. So traditionally, when at the height of a bull, when people sell Bitcoin, that money rolls into the alts, and you have what's called an alt season. The bull season for the alts, and all the alts go up in value. That's now changed. And the problem with people investing is they haven't realized that's changed. It's changed tremendously. Now, when you look at the alts, the alternatives to Bitcoins, only the best, strongest players are going to do well. Only the top. It's not like it was in the past where they're all going to go up. Now, only the top and the best players are going to do well. When are we going to have an alt season? Well, it's not going to happen when people sell Bitcoin and roll their money into the alts. It's going to happen when there's a risk-on environment and money's coming in. So this is exactly right. What we're looking for, what we've been waiting for this risk-on environment isn't just for Bitcoin to recover and go up to 120 or 130 and try to make new all-time highs next year. That's not it. We're looking for a lot of money to go into alt and have what's called an alt season or an alt bull run. And that's what we're looking for. So this risk on environment and where the money is going to be made is going to be in the next, probably from now to Q1, even maybe Q2 next year, when the money is coming flooding in and moving into the best plays in the altcoins. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Because the crypto market is maturing, you can start seeing and not predicting, because you can't predict the stock market, but you can see how outside influences impact what is happening and what is likely to happen. You can't time it, but you can say certain things are going to happen in the future. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I mean, you're basically saying, just like the stock market, in the past, when there's a risk-on environment, when the economy says, "Hey, we're done tightening this quantitative tightening business. We're not putting up interest rates and reducing liquidity. We are now lowering interest rates. We're increasing liquidity. We're increasing so there's more available money, and the money's less expensive." That creates a risk-on environment where people are more willing to take risk and invest and expand, not only on their businesses, but also on their investments. And in a risk-on environment, it's exactly right. more money's going in, more money's going to go in the stock market, more money's going to go in crypto. The secret is to know where is it going to go in crypto. And that's what I also help with my education program is I highlight the best performers, the ones that have proven to do well, the ones that are likely to do well, and really help people understand not just how to do it, but also some of the best performers that they can take a look at for themselves and see if that's where they want to put their money.
Yes, that makes absolute sense. And what I really like about the way you explaining this is that 5-10 years ago, crypto was the Wild West. People were saying this is like gambling. As you said, many people lost a lot of money because they simply didn't know what they were doing. But now that it's maturing, you are actually using it as an investment vehicle where you really understand why you're doing the things that you're doing. And I know that you're an advocate for passive income strategies with crypto. Can you give us a basic overview of how someone might start building passive income in this space?
Yes, 100%. So passive means it's not your second job, right? So again, with crypto, if you want to be tuned into the computer 24/7, that's no longer passive. That's an active job where you're spending all your time doing what's called trading or leverage trading. And that's not what I'm talking about. Passive income for me is like if you buy a house and you wait 5 years and you buy it and it's 200,000 in 5 years, it's 400,000. That's a passive income. So what I'm talking about in just a few minutes a day, highlighting the things you want to buy, you buying them and holding them for maybe a few weeks to a few months and having them go up 30%, 50%, 100%, and then taking your money off. And that's what I advocate in terms of passive. So it's not completely passive. You don't just do it and close your eyes, but you have to check in. But I work with people who have full-time jobs. They don't want a second job. So usually after you're trained, you're talking 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's a lot that it would take to manage your portfolio.
That's excellent. Also, it takes out the emotional decisions. Things have dropped. It's like the stock market, right? In stock market, you can have it as passive income. You buy the stock, you let it sit there. In 5-10 years, it's going to go up because the stock market always goes up.
It's a little bit more active than that because crypto itself is the stock market on steroids. So a month in crypto is like a year to maybe a couple years in the stock market. So what the mistake people make in crypto is they don't realize if there was an asset, right, a coin or token that was, let's just say $100, 3 weeks ago, and today it's $10. There's no guarantee if you're not on the inside and don't understand what you're buying, there's no guarantee it's going to go back up to 100. So many people are like, oh, it was at 100. Now it's at $10. I'm going to buy a bunch of it. No, that's not how crypto works. If you don't understand the speed at which things change. So in the stock market, you have a company that does well and then it shits the bed and it's not doing well. Number one, most people know. Number two, it takes years to go up and then years to go down. No, in crypto, it takes a few weeks to go up and maybe a day or two to go down. And people don't realize when it's down, which ones are going to come back versus which ones aren't. And they're throwing their money at things that yesterday were fantastic. But like I said, a week in crypto is like a month or, a few months in real life. So if you don't know what you're doing and you're just basing yourself on yesterday's knowledge or what you thought yesterday was popular, it may not do you any favors. And tomorrow that same thing could go quickly down to zero. So it is like it. It's just, like I said, you have to be educated. You have to understand. And these are lessons I paid for the hard way. All my lessons cost me a small fortune. They all cost me money to learn because that's how you learn. You get in there, you do what you think is best, and then you learn. You're like, wait a second, that didn't work. Why? And then I educate. I spent well over a year educating myself before I started educating other people for the past few years. And even what I teach today is monumentally different than it was a year ago. Monumentally different. The strategies I employ today are different. So when we get in, I'm using much more intelligent strategies than what was needed a couple of years ago. Right? I teach people how to protect their investments, how to do stop loss. So if things go down in a hurry, that we're not depleted and we protect not only our investments, but we protect our profits too. I use a lot of, I wouldn't call them tips and tricks. I just call them a lot of intelligent strategies that I've had to learn over the years the hard way to help people not only be successful, but to protect their profits and protect their capital. I don't want anybody losing, even though I can't tell people exactly what to do. I can just tell them the strategies that work for other people to keep them profitable and successful. And if they decide to use them, which my clients not, all do, then generally they do well.
Yes, and as you say, you've learned this the hard way by going through it yourself. And because you've actively been in trading with crypto, you've seen how the market has changed, how trading has changed. And so you're able to keep people up to date so that those people who do have a regular job only need to spend that small bit of time to stay on top of their investments and also then not make big mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you don't lose in crypto, you're winning. If you don't make a big mistake or get scammed, you're going to do okay. Like you're not going to like that though. That's how you lose, by making big mistakes or by getting scammed. If you avoid those two, generally you're going to do good.
So what's next for you and the crypto education program? Are you expanding into new markets or launching new models?
I have something I've been working on. I can't really disclose it. The goal is to have it on a larger scale, but not me direct through the public. And that's probably the limit is what I can say. But for now, if people are interested, just get a hold of me. My email is easy, daniel@emcdental.ca, or just find me on LinkedIn, Dr. Daniel. And LinkedIn is what I work mostly off of now. And that's the only active social media account I have. And I'll still sort of I'm open to working with people. But right now, yeah, on the horizon for next year, if things are aligned, I've got some things cooking. I think that's the most I can say without saying, without giving too much away.
Sounds exciting. And that tells our audience they need to be following you to see what's new that you're coming up with. It sounds super exciting. Now we've come to the segment of our show. We'll ask you some rapid fire questions. You're a pro, so you remember this section. Are you ready?
Not prepared, but I'm ready. Let's do it.
Solana or Ethereum? Which one are you going to pick to hold?
Solana.
What's the biggest crypto myth you wish more people would stop believing?
That you're going to make $1 million with your eyes closed.
And speaking of $1 million, how long before Bitcoin hits $1 million?
I would say, where are we at here? 2025. At this current trajectory, I'd say within a decade.
Amazing. One tool or app you recommend for every new investor?
The website CoinGecko.com. CoinGecko.com is go and just play around and familiarize you with the website. That's one of the most instrumental websites to give you information and understand, a good part about crypto.
How would you describe the future of crypto?
Very, very, very bright.
What's the first thing someone should do today if they want to start learning about crypto?
Email me.
Excellent. Well, thank you for playing along. That was easy enough. I would like to ask you our signature green pill question. If you could take the green pill and start over, would you go about things differently?
So I love this question because the answer is yes and no. And I'll tell you exactly why. Let's start with no. The reason I start with no is because wherever I'm at in life, which is right where I'm at today, is where I'm supposed to be. And I love where I'm at today. And my life isn't perfect. It's far from perfect. It has probably as many challenges as everyone else's lives has, if not more, and as many sort of beautiful things in my life. However, at a point in my life where I wouldn't change it for the world, and even though it's far from perfect, I just always say this is where I'm supposed to be. So the answer is no, I wouldn't do anything differently. But the answer is also yes, I would do so much differently if I knew then what I do now. And what I would do differently then is, I wouldn't go into dentistry. It was never my natural passion. I'm a big math nerd, huge math nerd. Love numbers, love analytics, love problem solving. I love that stuff. And I would have went in that direction and I would have let it flow into. And if you would have asked me now what I would do then, knowing what I know now, I would have went into economics and finance, but from a mathematical perspective, because that is my passion and I love it. I'm good at it. I enjoy it. And I would have just went in that direction. Wherever I ended up, I would end up, but I would just say, Daniel, follow your passion and what you're good at. And that's what I would have done differently.
I love that answer. Excellent. I love that crypto is the perfect place for you to be because you love numbers. It absolutely makes sense that this is what you should be doing. Excellent. Daniel, thank you so much for joining me today. Your mission to simplify crypto investing and empower first-time investors is both timely and very much needed. You've shown us that investing in crypto doesn't need to be complex or exclusive. It just needs to be clear, guided, and accessible. Before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you or learn more about the crypto education program?
That's fantastic. Thank you, first of all, for the kind words. And yes, it's my pleasure being here and sharing my knowledge. Again, just find me on LinkedIn, Dr. Daniel, or email me at daniel@emcdental.ca because I'm in Canada. EMC from Einstein. E equals MC squared. I'm just nerdy like that, but emcdental.ca, Daniel and there or LinkedIn. Either one, I'll be happy. I will respond and we can just have a chat and see where you're at and take it from there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Matrix Green Pill podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation as much as I have, please follow the show and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more people who are ready to take the green pill. Until next time, don't be afraid to invest in crypto, but be aware of those scams.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.